Yo, listen up, Rue is stepping up the game, where fantasy Premier League runs in his veins. From transfers to captains, he's always on top, guiding you through every game week non-stop. They say Rue got that Salah flow. Welcome to the channel, enjoy the show. Wild cards, free hits with so much vibe. If you're hunting for success, then make sure you subscribe.
Good day, mate. Welcome back to the channel. I'm FPL Root, and welcome back to another Euro 2024 fantasy video. So in today's video, I'm going to be going through my first draft. So it is early days. Teams have just picked their kind of 30-man squad. They're going to cut that down to 26. So some players could not be in the squad, but the players I picked should definitely be in the squad. Whether they're starting or not, that's another conversation. But I picked probably some of the key players from each team. So I could probably almost guarantee they're going to be starting, but obviously injuries could happen. Other players could get injured as well, which means they might have to move positions, stuff like that we don't know yet. But for now, this is my team, this is my squad. And once we know more information, that will update, and I will give you a video to update that. And before we do go anywhere, I just wanted to go through the groups so we know which kind of teams we want to target with this first draft. So Group A, Germany, Scotland, Hungary, Switzerland. You got to say Germany are the favourites in this group. They're at home. They're probably one of the, I guess, biggest nations in that group. And then Scotland did very well in qualifying as well. Hungary, we've seen them in England's group. In the Nations, they do very, very well, unbeaten against England in that. And then Switzerland always do really, really well in these tournaments. So that is a tough group. But I do think Germany are one of the teams to target. And I think Switzerland as well, to be honest. Group B, also known as kind of the group of death for this tournament: Spain, Croatia, Italy, Albania. We know how good Spain can be on their day. We've seen them win tournaments in the past, the way they play. Yes, they had a bit of a drop-off, you could argue, in the last few tournaments, but for me, with this young group of Spain players coming forward, they could be a team to target. Croatia always do really, really well in tournaments. Their squad's probably aging a little bit now, but we know that they can perform. They've got to the final of the World Cup a few years ago. They got to the semi-finals of the Euro. So yeah, we know how good Croatia can be. And then Italy, obviously the holders of this tournament. And yes, they didn't qualify for the World Cup, but they're going to want to defend their crown of European champions. And Albania, for me, probably not the strongest team in the tournament, but it does make up a really, really strong group of death, where I don't think a high kind of points tally will actually win this group. Group C, England's group. So England obviously are the favourites in this group, but not easy opponents, to be honest with you. Denmark, we've seen how good they can be in the past. Slovenia, Serbia, tough teams to face as well. But you got to fancy England in that one and probably targeting England players. Group D, France, obviously one of the strongest teams in this group. Their squad's ridiculous, to be totally honest with you. They could have probably fielded another team and they would have done well in this tournament, with the players that actually haven't gone. The Netherlands, I guess, have had a bit of a drop-off recently, but their team looks strong. Young players coming in as well. Austria and Poland won't be, I guess, picking loads of players from them. Austria missing David Alaba, which is a big miss for them. And then Poland always do okay in these tournaments, but I don't expect too much from them, with Lewandowski obviously being a little bit older now as well. Group E, Belgium, Slovakia, Romania, and Ukraine. Belgium look very good in qualifying, so definitely a team we should be looking to target. And then out of the other three, it is pretty even, I'd say. But yeah, I probably fancy Ukraine just. Group F, Turkey, Georgia, Portugal, and Czechia. So this is a tough group as well. Portugal, you know how good their team is on paper. Whether they translate that into footballing terms, who knows? Ronaldo, Bruno Fernandes, players like that, Bernardo Silva, could be options. And then Turkey always do pretty well when they're in these tournaments. Maybe not a stand-up star this year, but yeah, they'll normally do well. And then Czechia as well normally do well in these tournaments. Georgia, probably going to struggle in that group. But overall, we're probably going to target the group winners and maybe some of the teams that are coming second in the more tougher groups. For example, Germany, Spain, England, France, Belgium, and then Portugal. Probably our team's going to be made up out of most of them players, but there's definitely some players to be had from the other teams as well. Before we do get on to the first draft, please like this video, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and let's get into the first draft. So we'll get on to the first draft now. So like I said, it is early days, but I think this is the best team you can probably build for now until we have more information about where people are going to play in the pre-games, in the kind of warm-up games before the Euros does start. And then we find out who is actually in the final squads for these countries. We'll start off in goal, which is actually a tricky position to go for. But I think the fact that with this game that you basically have to pick a strong 15, because if your player does blank, you can transfer them out for a player on your bench. So really, you want to put the players that play first in your starting lineup. If this is a bit confusing, I do have a how to play video on my channel, so definitely go and watch that before. If you don't really understand how the game works, etc., it is a good video, teach you everything you need to know about the game. But in goal, I've gone for two, I guess, goalkeepers that I think will do very well. I know a lot of people going for maybe 4.5 million goalkeepers, but I think it's worth the extra money with these goalkeepers. I'm going for Diogo Costa, the Portugal goalkeeper. We've seen him do so well for club and country. Even in the last tournament, Portugal did pretty well with him in goal and were pretty solid until they obviously did come up against that Moroccan team who knocked them out in the World Cup. He's 5 million, which it's probably 0.5 million more than I did want to spend, but I think the fact that his fixtures and his group is very good, and Portugal are normally a solid team. They've got Ruben Diaz in defence, Dalot. Obviously they've got their midfield of Bruno Fernandes, Bernardo Silva. So they've got some decent players in that team, and they play Czechia, Turkey, and Georgia in their group. So I'd say a solid group for Portugal. They're going to want to expect to kind of get out of that group, and I think Diego Costa can be a nice option to go for. Also gone for Jan Sommer, so the Swiss goalkeeper, a very, very good goalkeeper for club and country, 5 million as well. And I think Switzerland's group is very, very good. But obviously they do have Germany in that group, but they don't play Germany until game week, well, until match day 3. So first up, they've got Hungary, which is not going to be an easy game, but I think Switzerland are looking very solid for this tournament. And then they've got Scotland, and then they face Germany. So if you are going to play your limitless chip, maybe in match day 3, then you don't need to worry about Sommer in this game. And you've also got transfers and stuff like that to kind of get through. So I won't be stressing too much about picking players that are going to have good fixtures for the whole 3 match days. Either focus on 2 out of the 3, or even the first 2 or last 2, etc. You've also got your limitless chip and stuff like that. But yeah, Jan Sommer, Swiss are normally solid in defence, and I do fancy them to have a good tournament. And then Diogo Costa, Portugal are always solid in defence, and he's a good goalkeeper, good shot stopper. So yeah, really happy with them two in goal. Also, another key thing to add is they play on different days. So with your team, you're going to want goalkeepers, especially that play on different days, because you can sub out your goalkeeper if they don't score enough points that you want them to score, especially because I'm obviously in Australia. It's a little bit more difficult than you would be if you were in Europe. In Europe, you can easily swap between goalkeepers after the game is finished, but someone like me that's in Australia, or other people that are in other places in the world, the games are at 3, 4 a.m. and I'm not actually awake to do that. As much as I do love fantasy games, I'm not that dedicated to wake up that early to change my goalkeeper in defence. So I've gone for Harry Maguire. I think England's defence are normally solid at these sort of tournaments. And we know Harry Maguire loves a bullet header in these tournaments as well. I remember the Euros and the World Cups. He has got a couple of goals in that. And I think for only 5 million, he is a nice option to go for to cover that England defence. Like I said, their group's pretty good. They start off with Serbia, then they've got Denmark, then they've got Slovakia. So a really, really nice group for England. And I think having someone like Maguire in there that can pop up a goal, especially against teams that I think England should be beating comfortably, like Slovenia, Serbia, and Denmark, maybe not so much, but definitely the other two. Yeah, Maguire, I can't see the other teams giving him that much of a threat in terms of attacking wise. So that's why I've gone for Maguire, and the fact that he is obviously very good in the air, and I think he can do a job in that defensive slot and maybe get some attacking returns. Also gone for Germany defender. So I've gone for Schlotterbeck. 4.5 million, so very, very cheap. He's done so well this season for his club, getting assists, bombing forward. And I think he can be a nice option to go for. Scotland, Hungary, and then Switzerland in their group. So they don't play the Swiss until the last game week, which I think is crucial because I do think Switzerland will end up coming second in that group. And yeah, to cover Germany's defence 4.5 million, I think it's a good option to go for. Also, this one's a tough one to be honest because it is the group of death, but I've gone for DeMarco from Italy. He is again so attacking, 5 million. Albania, Spain, and Croatia, so not the easiest group. And to be honest, it is a tough one, but I think his attacking threat, and I think the fact that Italy are holders in this tournament, then I don't mind it. Even if you're only playing for match day one and then sub him out against Albania, then so be it. But I think he is a nice option and he is very, very attacking as well. On the bench, who genuinely won't be on the bench, but for now they're on the bench. Um, I've got Wout Faes from Belgium. This one's a tricky one. I think he'll start, but it's not a guaranteed. But I think he will start. He's only 4 million. His group is very, very good group. They have some good games, and they've got Slovakia, Romania, Ukraine, so they're the clear favourites in that group. Belgium have been doing very, very well in qualifying as well, and they're going to be probably wanting to put on a show, and it's probably going to be the last tournament for their golden generation. Some of them are gone already. Don't get me wrong, some of them are gone already. Some of them are on the way out, in terms of footballing wise, retiring wise. But you've still got De Bruyne, you've still got Lukaku, and I think they're going to want to do well. And I think Fias, if he does start, 4 million is an absolute bargain. Next up, we've got Theo Hernandez. So the France left back again, someone that is so attacking. He got injured in the last World Cup, and then his brother came in who did very, very well as well. But like I said, France have got an incredible team, one of the favourites, and their group is looking very, very good for them. They've obviously got, like I said, Austria, Netherlands, and Poland. But a key factor is, I guess, they've got Netherlands in the middle game. So if you did want to play your limitless chip in the middle game, it could be a nice one to go for. But I fancy France against anyone, to be honest with you. And Tia Hernandez is very, very attacking. 5.5 million, a little bit expensive, but I think it's worth it for him, to be totally honest with you. Overall, pretty happy with defence and goalkeepers. You could argue that maybe some of them are a minute's risk, but for me, I think they should start. And again, we'll know more once the warm-up games have happened, and we can narrow down the squad to 26-man squad rather than a 30-man squad. And if some of these players do play, I think they can get goals and assists as well, alongside clean sheets. Because one of the key things to note with defenders is there are a lot of goals from set pieces at these tournaments, these European tournaments, and we've seen that with Maguire in the past, with Tia Hernandez as well, taking them, with Fies as well, as we know he can get on the end of things from his Leicester days. So yeah, that is a key thing to look at when you're bringing in defenders. There were a few people close. I think Pickford was close for me, but I did decide to go for Maguire's goal threat over that, and I felt like there was two better goalkeepers to go for. Now let's get onto the midfield. So next up, we will move on to the midfield. And it is a tough position, to be totally honest with you, to go for. But I think I've got a right balance of players that are kind of the main people for their teams and players that are in very, very good teams and attacking teams. And we'll start off with them. So I've gone for Bukayo Saka, 8.5 million. Yes, you could argue maybe I should have gone for Bellingham, maybe a bit more expensive, but I think Saka is a bigger goal threat. And like I said, England's group is very, very good. And for me, they're gonna breeze through that group, I feel. Serbia, Denmark, and Slovenia. We know Saka does well at tournaments. It's just, could he be a bit tired from the season, the Premier League season? We've seen him limp off after every single game. We've seen him being run into the ground by Arteta. Is that going to play an effect on him? I don't think so, because there is a bit of a gap between the end of the season and the Euros, and Saka does perform normally for England and in tournaments, and there is an argument to maybe go for a Bellingham instead, or Foden. But for me, I think Saka, he's guaranteed to start on the right, and he's going to get us goals and assists at some point. So for me, that's why I've gone for him. Next up, player that I'm really excited to talk about. He's had an incredible year. at Leverkusen is Florian Wirtz, 7.5 million. Like I said, Germany's group looks very, very good. Scotland, Hungary, Switzerland. And even though their national team, I guess, has had some stick recently, hasn't really been performing to what I guess the Germans are used to. I think this young group of players coming forward for Germany, like Musiala, and Florian Wirtz, players like that, they are very, very exciting, and I think yeah, it should definitely be considered to bring one of them in. Musiala could be a better option, don't get me wrong, but I think Verts, you're saving money on him. And for 7.5 million, I think he could be a nice bargain. He's just come off an incredible season for Leverkusen as well. So a very nice option to go for. Next up is something a bit different. It's really, really attacking the first two fixtures. So I've gone for two Swiss midfielders, which probably a bit controversial. So let me know what you think in the comment section below, whether you agree with me or not. But like I said, their first two games, Switzerland's first two games are against Hungary and then against Scotland. So they don't play Germany until match day 3, which is a big, big factor. So Xherdan Shaqiri, 6.5 million. We know how good he can be in European tournaments. Yes, you could argue he is getting on a little bit, but yeah, when he plays for his country, he just turns into one of the best wingers, to be honest, or midfielders, depends where he plays, number 10, in the whole world, to be totally honest with you. I think Shaqiri for Switzerland is just another level. And I think that's why I've got in my team 6.5 million. I really can't see a better 6.5 million midfielder out there. You know he's going to play. You know their first two games, they're going to want to win because they do have Germany in their last game. And even if they do need to win or need to play well in that Germany game, Germany could already be qualified. So it could be a nice game for them either or. And Shaqiri, it is a risk, but I think it's a risk worth taking. Also, Granit Xhaka, 6 million, another Swiss midfielder. It is very heavy on the Swiss midfielders, but like I said, Hungary and Scotland. Yes, Hungary have done pretty well in the Nations League, but if Switzerland want to get through, then I think this is the time they're going to have to beat Scotland and Hungary. And Granit Xhaka, yes, he's seen as a defensive midfielder where he played for Arsenal. But for Switzerland, he is a full-on attacking midfielder, sometimes plays number 10. And for me, I think that's a key reason why I've gone for him. And don't get me wrong, it is risky. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Is it too much to go for two Swiss midfielders? If yes, who would you go for instead? Also, I've gone for the Turkish midfielder Çalhanoğlu. Um, um, yeah, don't know if that's right, but Hakan Çalhanoğlu. We've seen him play for Inter. His set pieces are ridiculous. He does well in tournaments as well. I remember him from a tournament a few years ago. He's now 30 odd, but when he was a bit younger, and he tore it up. And for Inter, he's a very, very good player. He starts off as well against Georgia, which I think is one of the weakest teams in the tournament. So again, if you wanted to bring him in for one match day and then take him out when he does play Portugal in match day 2, that is an option. But it's mainly for his set pieces. The fact that he is the main guy for this Turkish team, and if they are going to want to do well and progress to the knockout stages, they're going to have to beat Georgia. So for me, that's why I've gone for him, and hoping that they can do damage in that game in order to maybe even take him out in match day 2 for another midfielder. But let me know what you think of this midfield in the comment section below, and we'll move on to the forwards. So now we'll get on to the forwards, probably the most important part of the team. And we've gone for some staple, I guess, national team tournaments like World Cup, like Euros, some staple players that normally do well in these tournaments. We'll start off with Romelu Lukaku. So 9 million he costs. And like I said, Belgium looked very, very good in the kind of in the warm-up games, in the qualifying games. And their group, like I said many times, does look good. Slovakia, Romania, then they've got Ukraine. And for me, Lukaku at international level just looks so good. And I'm not disrespecting him in terms of club level. I think he gets some stick that he probably doesn't deserve. But I think the fact that international game is a lot slower, his bad touch can probably be let off. He can recover that very, very quickly because he is quick, he is strong, he's someone that likes to get in behind, a good finisher as well. And for me, international tournament is perfect for him. And I do fancy Belgium to make a go of this. I think the fact that they've I guess retired, well, some of their golden generation has retired. I think it means some of the others have to step up. Some of the new boys have to step up. And Lukaku, he's going to be one of the older heads in that team, and he's going to be scoring those goals. Will De Bruyne actually turn up at an international tournament? I think this could be the one for him. And I think if he does turn up, Lukaku could get an absolute hat full of goals and potentially be top goal scorer. So Lukaku, I think, is a must-have in your draft from now, to be totally honest with you. Harry Kane is another one like that. 11 million, no, so 2 million more than Lukaku. Serbia, Denmark, Slovenia for England. We know Harry Kane, top scorer at the World Cup a few years ago. Obviously, last World Cup he did okay as well. Euros before that he did okay. One thing to consider though for Harry Kane is there is an argument, apart from that World Cup he got top goal scorer in, there is an argument he does start tournaments a little bit slow. But I think the times that did happen, he was coming off an injury at the back of the season, whereas now he's had a full season in Germany. The tournament is in Germany as well, which is going to play a massive, massive part. He's playing at stadiums he's played at all year. Yes, he's only been in Germany 1 year, but he's settled now. He's got his family there. He's virtually at home. He is at home. That's where he lives. And to be at home for a major tournament, I think that just plays I guess, such a key part to maybe him going on and winning the tournament for England. And you've also got Jude Bellingham in there that played in Germany a long, long time, which can be another factor as well. And I think for me, Harry Kane is going to score a hatful of goals this tournament, especially with the attacking options England have got now. In these tournaments gone by, even when he finished top goal scorer, who did he really have creating for him? Raheem Sterling, Saka, yes, but now he's got Foden, Palmer, Bellingham, Saka, Anthony Gordon. He's got a ridiculous amount of attacking threat. Declan Rice as well, behind him, kind of supporting him, putting the ball on the plate for him. And for me, Harry Kane is going to finish top goal scorer. Well, one of these three players, I think, in my team will finish top goal scorer. And I think he's going to do well, Harry Kane, in this tournament. On the bench, obviously it's not like FPL though, so if one of my forwards doesn't deliver, then Mbappe will be coming on. And 11 million as well, just like Kane. It is, obviously, I just mentioned him, Mbappe. And starting off with Austria, Netherlands, then Poland. For me, he's a must-have. Hat-trick in the World Cup final. Probably the best player in the world in terms of attacking threat at the moment right now. Yes, he's leaving PSG, probably going to go Real Madrid, probably going to win untold Champions Leagues. And for me, he's shown it in France. It's just, I don't really know what more I can say about Mbappe. With FPL, I might have to talk up a few players that, no disrespect, but play for some of the lower down teams in the league. Maybe a Sheffield United player, probably not. But maybe we'll be bringing in Luton players, or we're bringing in players from Brighton or players from Burnley, stuff like that. I need to kind of convince everyone. I don't need to convince anyone. It's Kylian Mbappe, it's Harry Kane. You know they're going to score goals. You know their teams are going to do well. That's it. Get them in your team, to be honest. Other than that, though, I did want to say, if you have liked this draft, if you agree with my picks, if you disagree, leave a comment in the comment section below. Also, join my mini league. It will be on the next part of the video. I'll leave it up there until the video ends. Just pull it in, pause it, put the code in, and yeah, join. There's going to be a prize for winner. I'm going to give away one of these hats. Yes, it's not much, but at least it's something free. And yeah, join for the link in the description. Join for the code on the screen in the next part of the video. And yeah, let's see if you can beat me. If you've liked this video, smash a like, subscribe to the channel as well. It does help me out a lot. And yeah, more Euro 2024 fantasy videos.